If growth stays flat, that means all the aspiration that anybody has, all the aspiration that you guys talk about on your podcast, how am I going to do better? How am I going to save? How am I going to fulfill my desires and aims in life? Well, the average person isn't going to. Because if there's no growth, that means there's no growth per capita, which means the average capita, the average person, is not going to get a raise for the rest of their lives. Some might. You guys will. You're bright, moving forward. You've got a shtick. You're going to do very, very well. But every time you do slightly better, in a no-growth world, that means by definition, somebody else is doing worse. Somebody else is doing worse. And that's immoral. Now, since the Second World War till the turn of the century, well, actually for the last couple of 100 years, that no-growth world was what lived in this country for 600 years. So you were born, your father had a job, your mother didn't, because, that was how it was then. The job your father had, you would get. And you would get the same job for the rest of your life, and then you'd die, and your kid would get that job. And you would earn the same salary every year that you would earn the year before, which was very, very little. But you never got a raise for all of your life. 600 years of that from, I just take that from like 1150 to 1750. And then suddenly everything took off. And suddenly, year after year, there were more jobs, so you could choose a different job, that your salary went up every year. For the same job, you didn't have to do anything more, because what was happened was that the entrepreneurs were figuring out all these machines to make you more productive, so you were worth more and you would get more. And that carried on from 1750 to, let's say the year 2000. With every year, more and more jobs in this country, every year, higher and higher wages for the same job, and lots of jobs that were really good jobs, so they were really good wages. And it was a sort of social compact that you're an ordinary person somewhere in this country, and you got a family, or you're building a family, you get married, have kids, have a house, whatever. You could expect that each year you'd be able to fulfill your dreams by making a bit more, and you could expect that your children would have a decent job because the number of jobs was going up. All of that has stopped. Last 20 years, GDP per capita has essentially remained the same. Number of jobs not really going up, apart from low-paid jobs. And salaries not going up. The average wage has stayed the same for 20 years. This, in my view, is immoral. I think everybody's got the right to expect a decent life and to be able to build and so forth. And if you can only build your life on the back of somebody else who's going to get crushed by it because the pie isn't growing, and so if you take more of the pie, somebody else takes less, I think that's awful.
That was a clip from our full-length conversation with Lord Moynihan. If you want to watch the full conversation, you can just click right here.
A real lord, not landlord.
I'm Lord of the mic. Okay? You ain't even Lord of your yard.
No! Did me dirty.